We're here. We live. We're doing it. We are at Spark HQ again, enjoying a cup of coffee with some people and answering questions and trying not to get freaked out when people show up, which is so fun, which is what happens. So today's topic, I wanted to cover barriers to achieving whatever it is we want in physical medicine, whether you're someone who's in pain, and I need to know whether you're someone who's in pain or you are someone who just wants to improve their overall mobility or LGN. That's Look Good Naked for all you Sparkies out there who don't know that already. But whatever the goal is, whether or not you perceive that goal as a valuable thing, well, that's going to tell sort of those around you watching this process happen how valuable, how valuable something is related to the barriers that you perceive are in front of it. So if something's super valuable to you, you're going to go, well, I don't care what's in front of me. I'm going to go spend the time, do the research, do the work, spend the money, whatever that is. And if you don't value that thing, then you're going to make up a bunch of barriers, or you may perceive barriers to that goal as, just too hard to overcome. So exercise is a perfect kind of space to talk about this in. Someone who may need to lose 100 pounds or has a very long rehab state ahead of them. If they're not fully educated or fully walked through the process where they can understand that this does take some time, whether it's losing that weight or it's going back to being able to run or jump. When you lay the plan out, to a professional like myself, that plan looks like a nice stepwise plan to get back to whatever it was we wanted to be able to do. But to that person who is scared, in pain, maybe this is something that they are afraid will change their ability to move around the rest of their life for whatever reason. That outcome looks like it's on the top of a sheer mountain. They don't see that if you just kind of turn your head a little bit around the corner, there's a lot of steps and a nice gradual slope. So understanding the value, making someone look at that peak and say, well, how important is that? Because they first have to overcome whether or not they can do this thing. Okay, so with some education like ours, or another, awesome health pro, you can obtain all that information. Say, okay, here are my steps. Here's step one. Here's how I get one foot in front of the other, and make myself, get myself on the path to this goal. Well, important to understand is, this value thing. Like I said, if you value something, whatever barrier goes up in front of you is going to feel like nothing, so you're just going to overcome that. But what do we value in our physical movement? Do we value not having pain? Do we value being able to LGN? Do we value being able to play that sport? Like how much? And so the big things that people throw up to us as far as why they don't do these things are, well, I don't have the time. Or, well, I tried something and it didn't work, and then I tried something else that didn't work, and then I got hurt, and that's why I'm here. It's like, okay, well, both of those problems are on a similar spectrum, because if one would say, okay, well, what if we did more research? Okay, what if we spent more time? It's not that you didn't have education; it's that maybe we sort of stopped at a certain point before we said, okay, this is for me. And we talked yesterday or the day before about context. Is the information that I am getting about me? So am I trying an exercise? Am I trying a rehab program that is built for my purposes, for my body, or for my pain? So there's a time component inside of the value thing too. How are you going to spend that time to find all the information that is going to be actionable for you and start you on this process? Um, so when it comes down to it, are we spending the time either in the execution of the plan to overcome these barriers? Are we spending time in the preparation to overcome these barriers? And again, are we making barriers bigger than they seem? Time is a big one. I'll come back to it a bunch. Um, Everyone has the same amount of time. There are some very, very, very busy people in the world. They all take, well, no, those of us who understand the rigors of being in a good physical condition, understand how someone like your favorite actor or actress might look amazing in a video or amazing in a movie, and then you go like, man, how do they do that? They don't look like that 6 months ago. It's like, well, because that is their value is what they look like on camera. They spend that time, they spend that effort. There is no barrier to looking the way those folks look that is big enough for them not to do so. I mean, it also helps that you're getting paid handsomely to do that kind of thing. But that's just it, is making small achievable goals where the barriers actually just look kind of small. When we have somebody in here and we're trying to just lose some weight, we might start with a very easy task like get off of a bench, right? So that's not a high, that doesn't look like a big barrier, right? No one needs to spend a lot of time or effort to being able to just stand up from a seated position on a bench. But that certainly is the beginning step. That stacks one small win. And if you can do that with one leg or from a lower bench, and these are the ways that we make that mountain look much more easily managed. And then, when people leave, usually they understand that the time and effort it took to be here and the time and effort they put in, that want to, that value seeking thing, goes right along with how well they do. So, and how well you feel. So when you have a goal, when you are looking at your mountain from one side, take a peek around the corner. There are people, you have friends, you have resources on the internet, all of which will tell you how to make this a stepwise journey. There's no barrier that is too big if you want any of these end goals. The work is the main thing. There are few cases in history where exercise, healthy lifestyle choices, and good nutrition didn't move the needle for health, performance, wellness, rehab, healing, all of it. So this was going to be a brief one today. I wanted to just make sure, and of course we didn't get any questions today, but as we roll along here, we'll be engaging more and more with our audience. This is just fun. And if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer. We're going to be back tomorrow, on Monday. I think it's a regular Monday, so we will see you for Coffee Talk Monday. And if you have questions, just shoot them in the comments, and we'll cover them. Have a good one. Later.